Welcome, my name is Tisha with Sew Creative Lounge. And our next sew along, we are actually doing the Nyla jacket. I am so excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them, but this one in particular, because it's been sitting on our radar for quite some time, and I'm so happy we're actually going to do it this year. So what you'll need is 2 jelly rolls. And if you need jelly rolls, we have them here at Sew Creative Lounge. We have tons of African print jelly rolls, so just give us a call and we can definitely fulfill your order. So in order to complete this, you definitely need 2 jelly rolls. Your jelly rolls come with 42 strips, so it's extremely important that you have those 42 strips for your jelly roll. So let's go ahead and talk about that. 1 jelly roll you will use for the jacket front and back. The second jelly roll you'll need for the sleeves, the hood, the hoodie, and the other small pieces. So you definitely need 2 of them. So when you're putting your pieces together, you want to start with that first jelly roll. Again, it's 42 strips, and you'll have 2 coordinating prints, 21 coordinating prints in that set. So as you can see right in front of me, I have my jelly rolls. When you open them up, they're going to be folded in half, and just open them all the way up, okay, all the way up, okay. Now when you start putting your pieces together, you want to make sure, a lot of times with the African print fabric, you really can't tell what's the right side and the wrong side, so there's really no need to freak out about that. But what you want to do is just sew them up from one width to the other width. Okay, and I have one that's here. All it is sewn from one width to the other width. And I'm going to talk about sewing that up later. However, if you're not using jelly rolls and you're just going to use strips of fabric that you already have in your stash, go ahead and cut them to 2.5 strips. You'll need 42 of them for the first set and 42 for the second set. Now, if you're using different fabrics from your stash, they're not going to be entirely the same width, as you can see here, and it's okay. Go ahead and sew them up, and I'm going to teach you how to cut them down to the size that you need. Okay? The next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and start sewing these up. Now, you can sew this or you can serge it. It's really up to you. I'm just going to use my serger because it's just so easy for me to serge, but you can just sew. Just using a regular straight seam, and you want to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, so I have my serger set because I'm gonna serge mine. Now again, you can sew yours, and so I've gone ahead and opened up one of my jelly rolls. Okay, and so I have them laid here on the table. So I'm gonna just open up 2 of them like I have here, the width of the fabric. So we're going long. Okay, very, very long. So I want to just go ahead and even this up. Now putting the first 2 are easy, and if you feel like you need to put pins along here, do so, but for me, I can just go ahead and keep these even and serge this as I go along. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the first. Now as I'm serging, I'm not doing a lot of trimming. So if you have your knife engaged and it's cutting, all it should be doing is cleaning up, but you should not be cutting your fabric. To be safe, you may want to just raise your the knife on your serger if you are serging. And I'm coming to the end, and not all African print fabrics are going to be the even 42, 45, or whatever the width is. And so you may have some shifting here, or some unevenness. Beautiful. And so I'm going to go ahead, and cut this. And now it's time for us to add to the next one. So I'm just going to open this up just like this. And you don't have to worry about pressing this right now, but once we get to a certain width, you want to start pressing it, okay? Now, I'm going to start from this edge where it's uneven, and it's okay. Now I want to add the next row to this, my next strip. So I'm going to take my next strip and just open it up. And I'm going to just keep this even with the second one. Okay, as you can see there. I'm going to put a pin in there and I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, before I start serging, I want to remember that this was my, where I started from. And so I'm going to put a color pin here because I don't want to start on this end again. So I'm going to put a black pin here. That's going to remind me that I need to start on the opposite end when I start serging my first strip, okay? Since I started from the opposite end, I'm going to again open up that third strip that I just opened, and I want to start on this end. So I'm going to put another color pin here, and I'm going to rotate these pins I'm going to put a white one here. So I'll know that I need to be going either in the opposite direction or the direction towards me. This will prevent the shifting in your strips as you're sewing them all together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate this one because I want to start from this end, okay? And so I'm going to add my next color strip. Now these two are pretty close in the same shades of blue, so I'm going to just pass this one and add the next color. So as you're adding your strips, just be mindful that you don't want to have two blues or your two purples together or anything like that. And again, I'm just going to even this up as much as possible with the entire stack. Okay, again, put a pin in it. I'm going to turn it this way because it's just easier for me to serge it that way. And I'm going to go ahead and start this one. And remember, that third one was white, so when we put the next one on, we need to be starting at the other end where the black pin is. So let's open it up, and we ended out on the end with the black pin. So we want to start here, okay? And so I'm going to add another color. Now you're going to continue to rotate building your fabric. Now you need 42 strips, so you need to lay out all 42 and make your fabric just like this with all the strips sewn together, okay, before we start cutting out. So earlier I was showing you how to use your pins, the color pins, so that you can remember which end you're working on, because sometimes I get confused, especially if the doorbell rings or the phone. It'll just, you won't remember where you at. So if you notice, I have a white pin down at this end, and on the opposite end I have my black pin, and this is just helpful for me. So that the fabric won't sway in one direction or another. Now, what does that mean and what does that look like? And why do we want to prevent it? So, I have my fabric here. I'm starting to build it up. Now, just imagine if I were just starting from the one end, which is here, and I just continue to add fabric, okay? Start sewing from this side and just keep going down. Start down, start down. What'll happen is your fabric will start to slightly sway. You see that? It'll start going in this direction here. And you want to prevent that. So in order to prevent that, we always want to sew. If we're starting from here, so going down this way, and then we'll add the next strip, and we'll start from that end and come on down. And then again, add the next strip, start from that same end and come on down. And you're going to rotate from left to right or up and down, depending on how you're looking at your strips. So now you can see we have all of our 42 pieces sewn together. You want to actually do this for the second jelly roll as well. With right sides together, sew both pieces of fabric together. making one continuous piece of 84 strips. Now for the layout, you want to fold your jelly roll pieces in half. And you want to place your lining fabric right on top of that with the folds matching together. And then use your patterns. Make sure that the back is on the center fold, as you can see in the picture. So thank you for joining us for the Nyla jacket. We had so much fun. If you have any questions or concerns, just reach out to us. Again, we can provide you with all your sewing needs. Please, we hope to see you in our next sew along. See you then.